Hi and welcome to Real Reviews, where today I'm going to be talking about True Detective, created back in 2014 by Nick Pizzolatto and featuring Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson both in front and behind the camera on board as producers. It went on to Emmy glory, but more importantly than that, it created one of the most dark and deeply disturbing police procedural thrillers in recent memory. It then steamrolled on to seasons 2 and 3 and featured A-list character actors including Colin Farrell, Stephen Dorff, Vince Vaughn and that Oscar award-winning fella from Moonlight and Green Book. Now we get to season 4 titled Night Country, and we have another Oscar winner at the helm in the shape of Jodie Foster. Alongside Jodie Foster we have Christopher Eccleston, and we've also got Callie Reese. And Fiona Shaw. So let's dive into exactly what it is about True Detective Night Country, which is going to make you guys want to tune in on Sky Atlantic and HBO right now.
What happened the last case you worked with Navarro?
That was good. Until it wasn't. They were too late. There was nothing we could do.
With the idea that psychology and threat and supernatural elements are thrown all together, as they often are in True Detective, this is no exception, as Night Country plunges audiences into the depths of darkness as an Alaskan community is plunged into pitch black. You've got Liz Danvers, Jodie Foster as the police chief of Ennis, who is trying to hold this community together. She is truculent, she is curmudgeonly, she's not a people person, she is very career driven, she's very detail orientated and has absolutely no time for family. She is essentially the antithesis of everything nice about a person you could possibly muster, but she carries a tremendous amount of baggage. She's emotionally scarred, and there's a tremendous amount of depth and darkness that Jodie Foster can dive into in this particular character. Christopher Eccleston is also excellent as Ted Cassaro, almost disappearing into the character through the interpretation of a truly awesome piece of accent work. You've got Callie Reese, who is indigenous to the town and to the Alaskan landscape, and sort of brings in the Native American elements, as it were, of this, if that's the right phrase to be using. You've also got the townsfolk themselves, who are sort of trapped in this small cocoon out in the middle of nowhere, and then you have the research station where these scientists are doing their work. And this is where the opening episode starts, and you get this tremendous sense of foreboding, which actually doesn't go away once everything is plunged into darkness, which happens within the first 10 minutes. True Detective, in essence, has a lot of tangents, has a lot of subplots, and again, Night Country is no exception to that rule. You have political ramifications, you've got corporate interests that are slowly unpacked, as well as having these very intimate and interlocked interpersonal relationships. You've got John Hawkes in there as well, and John Hawkes is a well-known character actor who's flown under the radar for many years. Fiona Shaw is excellent as Rose, who's this sort of isolated academic, as it were. And you have so many other little bits and pieces all thrown in, and that are all building that ultimately Night Country is a very deep and rich tapestry in terms of the world building which goes on, which is all hats off to Issa Lopez there. So what I'm going to do is dive in next to what exactly it is that makes Night Country exceptional, and just get a little bit deeper into it.
What do you want? It's been 6 years. Why are you here?
Because we both know what really happened. And you need my help.
I've seen that before. Years ago.
Fine. We're just gonna do this one thing. Work together to close this case. And that's it for the two of us.
It is.
So, you want in, or you just wanna go fuck yourself?
So what you've got to realise getting into this show is that things move at quite a slow pace, but there is so much detail, there's so much little bits and pieces, and the way these people, the way these relationships work, and the outside element, the actual town itself, and the weather, and this sort of tundra, this sort of vista of ice and darkness and driving snow becomes a character unto itself. So you've got that just adds an additional layer into this. So it's not that it's a particularly slow show in terms of pace and momentum, but there's just so much going on. And even after everything finishes and you come to this realization of what is actually happening and the finale is over, there is a sense of you want to spend more time there, because it really does feel like a grounded community. As I said, there are, or as I will say, there are elements of The Shining in this. There are elements of John Carpenter's The Thing, the Kurt Russell original, and there are horrific elements, but there are also very human elements which go on in Night Country, which make it even more disturbing. And there are a couple of moments, couple of scenes where people will just go, Jesus Christ. But ultimately, this is a very human story, and it's about a lot of very flawed, very broken people who are hiding from themselves and from others, and from maybe any number of other things. So that is more than anything what drives this. It's not one single character, it's a multitude, a true ensemble piece. I'm going to dive into my rating next.
I guess you're thinking the worst part is done. It's not.
Finish what you started.
And so it is. I'm going to be giving this a 4 out of 5 on the big old 5 scale, because True Detective Night Country feels like a return to form. There have been criticisms in the past for seasons 2 and 3, and this does feel very much, there is a connection to season 1, which I'll leave you to discover, I won't talk about, but ultimately this does really feel like the first season again. So you're back on solid ground. There is that same richness, that same sort of tapestry of characters and situations, and the idea that this isn't so much a drama as an ecosystem, as a community, and it exists very much on its own terms. So I'm going to dive into that trailer next and talk about the rest of the channel. Hi, and so it is that you've reached the end of the video review for True Detective Night Country, which is currently out and doing the rounds on Sky Atlantic and HBO, or could be Sky Max and HBO Max. I'm never entirely sure. So this is the bit where I go, if you've liked the video, then give me a little thumbs up. If you want to drop a comment in the comment box below, then feel free. And finally, if you want to subscribe, then just click on the button so that every Tuesday and every Saturday when another one of these videos hits the Tinternet, you'll get a notification, and you can drop in and watch or listen to as much or as little as you like and go about your day. Now do me a favour and yourself and check out the rest of the channel. Oh, and my Patreon as well.